Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Collector's Corner, a supplementary portion of the Divine Treasury podcast here on the Trek Geeks Podcast Network. My name is Mike Bovia, and as always, I'm joined with collector extraordinaire Jamie Rogers. How's it going, Jamie?
It's going absolutely phenomenal. I am super excited about this next guest that we're going to talk to. I mean, literally, I know we've talked about this many a times, but this is why we came out with this podcast, to talk to people like Lou, the people that are really fueling our collections as we speak.
Absolutely. So without further ado, then we'll introduce our guest, as Jamie just brought out. Many times you have seen posted on my personal Twitter, Jamie's personal Twitter, and now we are getting into it with our podcast Twitter as well. Our mail orders that come in from this company, who we are so proud to support, and also proud that they support us here on the network. We have Lou Halbeth from FanSets with us today. Lou, thank you so much for joining us.
Mike, it's absolutely my honor. Jamie, great to see you guys. I cannot tell you how excited I am, because this is our wheelhouse. This is where FanSets lives. This speaks directly to the people who are putting our product, all the Star Trek products, the licensed product on their shelves. And what a great place for us to go with you guys. So very excited. I'm more excited than you guys to be here.
I doubt it.
So thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on. We're going to have some fun.
Well, I know Jamie is very excited, and we just were commenting about this offline a minute ago, that when we were putting together the Divine Treasury, he was very excited. He said, we got to talk to Lou and FanSets. We got to talk to them about the product, interview them about, the whole, how everything comes to play. And I said, well, Jamie, when I was doing Legacy Trek with Emily, I did get to talk to them, but I definitely want to get them back on, because, this is a huge part of my collection. And unfortunately for Jamie, but fortunately for you and John and Joe, I turned Jamie onto this very early on in the process, and he's become quite the FanSets fan as well.
Yeah, it's so interesting too, is I never was into pins beforehand. Pins was never something that was like even on my radar to collect. And I think maybe it was because of the quality of pins that I'd seen out there just didn't really do anything for me. But then the second I started buying FanSets pins and I saw the quality and the pictures and it just, the quality is there. It's there in the product. And that's what kept drawing me to come back. And then when I started getting the master sets, it's like, I mean, as you know, Lou, I harass you almost every week to find out when certain master sets are coming back.
They're right back here behind me.
Yeah.
They're coming.
So, the quality of the product is what drew me to there. And then all of a sudden, like I said, an item that I never would have collected ever in my life, pins, now has become, a staple to my collection, as many people have seen.
Lou, here's my Discover card.
I got a stack of them right here. So
awesome.
It'll have good company. There's many Trek fans that I have that same relationship with. So.
I kind of want to ask the first question, Lou. What got you started down this path of making pins?
Okay, that's a great question, because it's didn't know anything about pins when John and I started plotting the course. We would go to Walmart, we would go to Target, we would go to comic book stores, we would go to conventions. And we were looking for the hole that we could find in the licensing business. What a lot of people don't understand is how navigating a license with studios that have global properties is more the trick than anything else. And we were trying to find what we could do. And ironically, I'm a big Disney pin collector. And we would go to Disneyland. I've got a room upstairs, my wife, my kids, we would go to Disneyland and we would trade. And it overtook, a lot of times it overtook the vacation because, we'd be going to get in on a ride line and we'd see a guy with pins and it would be like, hey, look over there. And then I would run and go get there first so that I could pin trade. And John came and he said, hey, why don't we do pins? And it was like, wow, the light bulb went off. So we had some very good connections into the Star Trek. They were our first license. We love Star Trek, excuse me, and that's why we wanted to make them our first license. And also from a business standpoint, just to be frank, there was opportunity. There's we're 2.5 men in the DC Comics world and the Harry Potter world. We're just pins, but we saw a very unique opportunity with Star Trek and its fan base and and Discovery coming back and the 50th anniversary. It was the perfect storm. And our wives also said, will you guys please go figure out a way to make money doing this instead of spending it all?
Sounds like something my wife would say.
Right. And like we were saying beforehand, 5-6 years ago, I would have been sitting on your guys' side of the screen because I as a fan, I've got my upstairs of my house looks exactly like it does behind you gentlemen right now, filled with eagle moss, filled with Star Wars figures. I have every of one of the Playmates Star Trek figures that came out. I mean, the 1701s, all the hard to get ones. I have every one of those, much to Bill Smith's chagrin. I have every one of those. And I'm sitting in the basement of my house that has so much collectibles. My poor wife, but 4 years down the road, we're starting to really hit our stride. We've had some opportunities come our way as we've moved into deltas, but that's kind of the thing that got us into it. We came at it with the name defines us. We are fans, and we wanted to make sets. And that's anyone that's heard me on a podcast or talk about FanSets before. But that's really how the name came about. Is that we want to be fans of the product first, and we want to bring out sets of the product to people. And that's kind of we pride ourselves on our customer service. We pride ourselves on the quality of our product. I mean, we're so small that every customer is important. I don't follow a lot of the other manufacturers. I don't know if they're out there engaging with you guys like we do, but I want to hear when we do something right. I love hearing that. I also like hearing when we do something wrong, and because that makes us better. And we're still learning. We're still learning. Every day is a learning process for us, as you guys cannot, when you're working with a company like CBS that has now become Viacom and then now it's going to the Paramount. I mean, there are so many hands. There's so many people that we're dealing with that we've never dealt with. And it's sometimes it's literally like paddling up a river with, straws in our hands, trying to make way. It's very difficult. And people are like, oh, okay, make this piece of product, do this character, do that. They do not understand the amount of time and resources that go into just getting something to get approved, because they don't want to license something, put it through their legal, put it into their system, unless they're going to be doing the one most important thing, which is collecting royalties off of it. So, but that's how we got started. And I've been self-employed for 32 years. I have another business that I have. I'm having so much fun in this because this isn't work. I get to engage with people like you, with Corey, with, Selma, people all over the world on something that they put on their shelves behind them. I can't tell you how much of an honor that is as I sit there and I see something that, we put 120 hours into deciding what it was going to look like. I can't tell you how many of those master sets we did for Voyager that came back from the factory wrong. They looked horrible. The gold was wrong. The sparkle was wrong. There was flakes on the characters' faces. We literally brought in 11 sets of 125 deep of those sets to get that set right. So it's a learning process. But it's the greatest. It's the most fun I've ever had in my life.
That
it really
is incredible. That is incredible. But I got to say, the hard work paid off, because that master set is gorgeous. I mean, you guys really outdid yourselves on that one. I can't wait to see what you have up your sleeve for the next ones, because, I mean, Jamie and I both commented on that when we ordered it. It's like, how do you top that?
Right. Right. Well, John is already, and let me just say this, is that someday we'll have to publish John's sketchbooks. He's into his 13th sketchbook for Star Trek alone over the last 4 years. And he's already got the Enterprise 25th done. And he's working on a 55th year TOS. If we're worried about oversaturating. I mean, those are expensive sets. We don't want to oversaturate the market on stuff. That's the one thing that it's kind of why we've went to the comic book, because we're comic book collectors as well, where we have a release date, the 1st and the 15th. We're going to bring something out. We're going to bring out a couple pieces. If you're a DC guy, we're so entry level. That's what I love about this. You can spend $15 with us a month, get your 2 DC guys or whatever, and we're not going to break your bank, but we don't want to oversaturate the market. But we already have a design for Enterprise in the works. We will be doing, speaking of the 55th, we will be doing the 55th logo that you just saw StarTrek.com have on their site. The show for the 55th year, we'll be bringing those out like we do all of the anniversary badges, and we're just waiting to get a hold of the 25th anniversary badge logo for Enterprise.
And obviously to Mike's point too, with these master sets, to me they seem like they just get better as time has gone on. Like, yep. not that I don't like the Next Generation one or right. I mean, you've seen them all lined up on my floor there. But they just get better and better, like the Deep Space Nine one was better than the TNG one. And then this Voyager one, though, the design that you guys used, the coloring, it just was absolutely top notch. So you guys definitely to be applauded for that, for sure.
Thank you. And I think go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, I'm looking longingly at mine right now as it sits next to me.
And I think the progression that you just went through and talked about with the master sets, I think is identical to FanSets as it is maturing into a company that groups are coming to manufacture product for. You won't find us in Target. You won't find us in Walmart. You won't find us and we've had deals on the table to do those. We've had a Marvel license that we were accepted by Marvel, but the mouse is greedy, and we would have had to forsake almost every one of our other licenses to afford doing something with Marvel. The yearly guarantees were just backbreaking for us, and we're doing great. We're happy with where we're at. We have a very niche fan base. We have a very underserved fan base with Star Trek, and we're going to hang right in there with it. So, yeah, but it's been a maturing process for us, as you just like the sets, where you're seeing fan sets more, and you're going to see some stuff this next year where we're going to have we're going to address some of the issues for our European Star Trek customers and for our Canadian Star Trek customers, where they won't have to come to FanSets and buy it. There'll be distribution we can get. It'll be through Amazon, and they'll be able to go. And you guys are getting this first. You guys are getting this as a scoop. That they won't have to come to fansets.com to get their stuff shipped to them. They'll be able to go to Amazon UK, and we'll have a partner in the UK who will put that product in 2 days in their hands.
Well, we're so new here. I don't know what our international fan base is like yet, but you heard it here first. If you're listening elsewhere than the United States, I mean, that is awesome. And that, that just goes to the point you were making about, you want to know when you're doing something good. You want to know when you're doing something bad. And I know Jamie can say this as well as I can. Not just the customer service that we've experienced from FanSets, but also what I've seen online through other people, where there's such a quick turnaround. If there's any kind of problem, you're on it right away to make sure that everyone is taken care of, and that goes such a long way in this hobby that we all have, because you buy something, sometimes you're waiting forever for it. Sometimes you get something and it's not in good shape, or you get the wrong thing, or it's missing, and there's nobody to talk to about it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I can actually, if we have the time for this, but I can actually tell a story about this week. I got a large shipment in as an example, and I was missing my Sato Woman of Trek pin. And I mean, literally, I messaged you, Lou, and like not even 5 minutes, you were telling me it's in the mail, it's at my door. And I even felt bad. I was almost like, don't, I'll tell you when I'm ordering my next order, so you can just throw it in there. And the fact that you almost like argued with me, like, nope, it's going out today.
Right.
And because it was important to you to address that, I mean, that, like I said, that's not something that we see in a lot of the people that we deal with, or, the companies that we buy from. So I appreciate that. I really do, as a customer. And,
one of the things we've learned in our journey with Trek is that there's been the consumer of Trek goods they've been sold a pig in a poke more than once. And we're not going to be any part of that conversation. I want to separate us from that conversation. John and I worked tirelessly. I mean, when we did the pre-book on the lower decks pins, and we were literally within 30 days of that, and that's in a pandemic with product coming in from China. A lot of people would have died to have that kind of delivery, with close to when they wanted to bring it out. I was losing my mind, literally, that we were 30 days late on stuff, and it was out of our control. I mean, it's that, we don't have this stuff built here in the United States, as does anybody. I mean, our stuff, we've stepped up to have all of our merchandise made at the same plant that Disney goes through, because we're after that quality. We're after that, the coloring, the line detail that comes with the pins. And like you said, when you look at that Voyager set was the first one we've had done at the Disney plant. So that's, you can see how the faces and everything just absolutely, some of them look like they're standing there looking at you. And that's what we're going through, maturing as a company, is being able to go and get, and what's crazy is I go, whereas when we got into this, nobody wanted to do pins for us. Nobody. One of our main guys said, you guys are never going to get people to buy little characters of the people. Nobody. And and he came back when we had our anniversary on June last year, and he said, color me wrong. You guys have, but it's because we never took our foot off the gas. And that's one thing we won't do is take our foot off the gas. I could show you the coming soon board over here, and you'd be like, holy mackerel. I mean, and we use the same board every year, and we put a picture of it from the year before on it. And our first quarter this year, we're bringing out more product than we did in the first 6 months of last year, which is the same amount of what we brought out total the year before. So it's growing. We're adding some really cool licenses where Rick and Morty's coming on. We're gonna Rick is coming to take over FanSets. You're gonna see some stuff on our site where it becomes Rick Sets. Rick Sets is taking over in March. We're going to be doing our second series of the Batman 66 line, which is just done incredible. I have it. I'm telling you, I got that Adam West pin in my hand, and I cannot tell you, I think I was potty trained on that show. I know that when I was in school and I would come home and I was trying to get, my mom was like, you get your homework done, you're not watching Batman. There was no TV, or excuse me, there was no TiVo or recording the shows. So if you missed an episode, you missed an episode. So I was on it. It was a great piece. And I kind of got a little teary when I held that first Adam West pin, and, and it looks just like him. And that was the same artist we used who did the Voyager series stuff. So we have our second series of Batman pins coming. That's going to have, all the villains. We have our second series of Scooby-Doo coming. We'll have Looney Tunes. We have so much stuff that's what we may be doing stuff for the movie Dune also. So, yeah. But it's been a lot of fun.
Well, it's funny that you say that your first manufacturer said no one's going to collect people pins, because I just put this together.
Right.
All of the captains and all of their ships, all of the captain mini crew. That's awesome. Or micro crew. So, I mean, not only do people buy them, but I enjoy making them into. I guess not making them into is the right term, but accentuating the art that they are.
Absolutely. And just to talk about that for a second, we're going to really address that this year with the backers like you see for the that you see for the master sets. Like I see your Women of Trek back there. We're going to have generic Trek ones. We lost, because of the pandemic, we lost our frame manufacturer, and we lost our manufacturer of those backers. And that's why we had to either figure out if we were going to go with all the different master sets having availability, or if we were going to be able to get Voyager out. Now that we've got Voyager out, we have all the backers for the other series is coming. We're going to have a backer. We'll have Women of Trek back up. So people who are doing series 2 will be able to buy the frame in the backer and put series 2 in. We're going to wrap series 2 in March, and we're going to start on series 3. And we're going to work with the Trek Geeks Network, where fans can come on your guys' show and vote. We're going to use you guys to help vote for who the next round of the Women of Trek will be, because in our opinion, the fans are the people who need to determine that. So yeah, it's really going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to have, this is the one thing that John and I went over in December is, and we've always kind of done this, and this is why we had the acrylic stands, because I collect action figures. I wanted to line everybody up, and I've got IKEA cases upstairs of my own pins going lined up, because I wanted to set them up like little action figures. And you can't go get licensing to make action figures because somebody else is doing that. And there's a lot of crossing the streams, so to say. If there's no exclusives, but you don't want to go and tread. That's why we've always been kind of slow to get into the Delta business, because there was other people doing it. So, now that, and CBS invited us to that dance, and we have happily accepted that dance card. But yeah, so you're going to see us this whole year, we're going to really be addressing where to put your pins, whether it's on a pre-done backer board, if it's on a sash, if it's on a lanyard. We've gotten into doing our masks have a place. It actually has a pin pocket, so you can wear your mask and FanSets logo on one side and whatever character you want to wear in the other, and the back of the pin won't touch your face. So we're going hard after that this next year.
So it sounds like it's fair to say that as you've grown as a company, that CBS seems to have given you more and more opportunity to put out more and more different products, because you started out with the micro crew and then it kind of progressed to the ships.
Yep.
And now there's all kinds of stuff out there.
CBS has been phenomenal to work with. The when they went through the merger earlier in 2020, we lost some of the people that we've worked with, but some of the people that we started with 5 years ago are still there. And the one thing that I think we've proven to them is that we can come through quickly. Our attention to detail, we're not going to do it wrong. And that's first and foremost. We could take our pins have characters off and just put that as our things. We're not going to do it wrong. So they've come to us. That's why we got involved in Picard last year, is that they needed the giveaway pins. And we had never done that for them up to that point, even through the early iterations of the Discovery shows that they did where they would give those out to people at the launch deals. But they came to us this last year, and we came through for them. We delivered to all the Amazon partners around the world on time, ahead of time, with no problems. And we have a phenomenal working relationship with John Van Sitters, all the approval people, and the actors. And I think that's the one thing, is we have a phenomenal relationship with the cast on these shows. And I cannot tell you how many of the actors who are really just kind of breaking through, who have gotten their character pins, and they're like, I put them in my Christmas cards, and that's a pretty cool compliment that they would use it that way. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Now, Lou, obviously on that topic, you're talking about, getting approval from CVS.
Yep.
Take me through from the beginning. Like, okay, you come up with an idea.
Okay.
How long, take me through every step of the process, what it takes to go from an idea in Lou's head all the way to being shipped out to Jamie's house.
You guys are gonna have a long episode.
And a CBS licensee, I'm guessing, is what you're saying, Jamie.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So, we'll do a character. We'll pick the character. We will go and whereas most of the stuff, if you guys look at our product, none of it is line art that comes out of a catalog, except for maybe the anniversary badge. That's line art. We get that. It's very simple for us to put that into, we have to pin form it, so to speak, so that and then that's a real quick turnaround, because CBS is the one who gave us that art, so they're going to approve that really quick. But we went for, I'll give you a prime example. Picard, our Picard character pins, we did 2 of them for the first season of Star Trek Picard, and we had to figure out what was the attire. First one we did Patrick Stewart in his Starfleet uniform that he wears when he goes back to Starfleet, right? That got nixed. So because they wanted the show to be somewhat away from Starfleet. They wanted to have that rebel look, that they're all in just normal clothes pushing the deal. So we the first one we then got approved was him with the family crest on his chest, and then we got him approved with, excuse me, him wearing the La Sereno, the outfit that he wore when he's on the ship. So we took that first pin, that first art, we got it pulled up, we did the faces, we did the design, got the coloring, which is really not that complicated. But when we then send that template into CBS, depending on who the actor is, who the agents are, it then has to go to that actor for approval. And depending on where they're at, what they're doing, their vanity, their agent, it could come down to many, many things. I'll give you a prime example. When we, and this is the best example. When we did our Snape pin for Harry Potter, it was right after Alan Rickman had passed away. We literally had to wait for everything to go through on his estate and finalized on who was doing what for him, and you know, all you get is back the tickers saying, you know, and we also had this with Yvonne Craig estate when we did the Batgirl pin for the 66 Batman. Our first iteration of Janeway 4 years ago for her Voyager pin, we had her in the bun hair from season 1. She didn't want that. She wanted her hair down. So that process can lead anywhere. So we've had people asking for Star Trek Picard characters, and we've had a lot of the characters in art, but it's the process of getting it approved that just takes so long. And then you go through a bunch of reiterations where they send it back, change this color, move this. We want, you know, she thinks she looks too old. He thinks he looks too young. The hair color's wrong. Just a myriad of things. We've heard it. We've heard every one of them. So we get that art to a place where Marion or somebody at CBS will say, go. Okay, you're approved to sample. So then we got to buy the mold for it, and we have anywhere, depending on the licensee. Some of the licensees they want, like when we're going to be doing stuff for Lord of the Rings, we got to send stuff to New Zealand for that to be approved. And not just them, but Warner Brothers. We get a mold done, we get that actual character done, and then they send it back to us, and we then have to send that to CBS. So we get it back. I overnight it to CBS. CBS looks at that and says, they either say go or they say no. If it's no, we just wasted all that money and time on the shipping, the mold, everything to get those 10 samples, and we start over. So after that happens, let's just say it's a go, then we have probably 4 weeks. We go back to the factory and we say, give us 500 of these, give us 1,000 of these. And that usually takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks in manufacturing to get it through and back to us. Now, you know, when I talk to Ben Robinson at Eagle Moss, and you look at those ships up behind your head, Mike, and he hears that we can do that in 3 months. For us, that seems forever. For him, that would be heaven. That would be the greatest. That would be the greatest thing that could ever happen for them. It does, because they're working with, you know, ours is flat and it's very 2D, and it shouldn't take us longer. But that's kind of the process. And you know, in front of all that, the card, the wrapping, the everything has to, you know, the scheduling. We have to get it scheduled. Have to get a schedule approved by the licensor for, like, we want to bring it out in this quarter. We have to do projections based on what we think we're going to sell, because we've got guarantees and we have royalties that are based off of that we have to pay quarterly out on stuff. So it's I knew none of this 4.5 years ago. So that's kind of the process of just a simple character pin. Those things that you're wearing on your chest there, Mike, that process has been a process. The badges are we kind of tease people with a couple, those ones that you saw today are 3D molds that are actually at factory, that have been approved, that are coming. So those are on the way. We get through Chinese New Year. We weren't joking that we want to do 20 badges this year. So or 20 deltas. Or, well, some will be deltas, some will be, Bajoran, or we're gonna have a good variety of stuff, but it's going to be primarily, we're going to work hard on badges. So and I want to, since I brought that up, I just want to tell you that we're going to announce on your show that let me just open it here, because I got to make sure that I'm not going to get fired.
Who would fire you? That's what I want to know.
CBS will fire me.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, never mind.
So we're going to do both the I just want to make sure I'm reading it right one last time. We're going to do both the Future Imperfect, the Captain and the Admiral badges. We're going to get.
Nice.
Yeah, those are it's funny that Bill brought those up yesterday out on Twitter, but both of those we've been approved to go on. We're going to get them molded and sampled. We're going to be working off of screen used pieces so that they're accurate 100%, and we'll hopefully have those as we get close to mid to late second quarter.
It is so cool that you're announcing them on this show, because I don't know if you know this, but that was the first episode of live TNG I ever saw was Future Imperfect.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome.
First episode I ever saw.
I got goosebumps hearing that. That's spectacular.
Yeah, you definitely made Jamie's day there. So speaking of goosebumps, I'm going to take you back to something that you mentioned, talking about this process and how you worked with CBS for a lot of the stuff with Picard.
Mm-hmm.
First question. So the family crest.
Yep. That
is what Patrick Stewart wore on set for filming, correct?
That is correct. So there was some reshooting that was done. Their prop master on set, after he got our versions in, they went back and did some reshoots with him wearing that. It is absolutely the one that we produced for the premiere, and they, we were pretty. When we didn't get to see anything on that until we went to STLV in 2019, and they had the room that was showing off all the stuff that was coming for Picard, and they had the model with our pin on it. It was a pretty proud moment. So, and just the mere fact that the prop master said, "Oh, there's so much more that we would like to get this reshot with this in the scene."
So
goosebumps there when you see your product on screen for Star Trek.
Yes, that's pretty high. That there's really nothing. I'll tell you what, that's nice, but having a customer tell us we do it right is more important than that. So but that's pretty cool. But we that doesn't pay the bills. That doesn't push us down the road. Having our customers think that they're getting screen accurate or near accurate. I mean, some of it's hard it's just impossible to get, because there's 25 of them made for a show or an episode that were resin cast, and I've got to go make 5,000 of them. Okay. That's, when we're doing the deltas, that's the kind of numbers that CBS is looking for us to manufacture to make it worthwhile. So, but yeah, so that's that. Go ahead. What was your second question?
Well, no, the second question was the goosebumps there. But I can tell you this much: when the deltas are there, I am accounting for 2 each time, because
Hopefully I'll
my
get 2 in the bag.
yeah, my daughter Emily loves the badges too. So
I know she does.
I get one for me, and then she's got a cork board, and she's got all of hers up on there too. So we've been collecting the badges, and she's been collecting the Women of Trek as well. So she's really into it.
And we've done really great with the autograph. We kind of introduced something new that had never been done on a pin as an autograph pin. We will still do our ship pins that will have the folding base on it. We just haven't been able to get the base right. Whereas if it's someone's wearing it as a pin, or if they're using it as a display piece, as they move it, we haven't got the base to where it'll stay tight in all aspects of usage. So, but we'll get those out. Well, we're going to have some, the apparel pins will still be coming. That's the one thing we don't run out of. John and I and Joe we're going to have some deltas that have never appeared as hard metal, that are going to have kind of we're gonna surprise people with what we're gonna do with that. I can't really go in. I haven't got it approved yet, but it's gonna be really cool when you see some of the stuff we do with cloth deltas that will be magnetic pins.
Oh,
yeah. Well, you kind of perked my
thought.
You kind of perked my interest again when we were talking about the autographs, because I love my 3 autograph. Yep. My Shatner, my Brent Spiner, are you going to be doing any more of those at all? Or?
As soon as we so. Cost effectively, we have to be there when they sign them, because we have to be able to verify that Joe didn't sign them down here in the basement with a can of beer in his hand. So we have to be there when they do it. We also have someone come out who does autograph verification while we're there. So if we would have had STLV this last year, we would have had we had almost the entire cast of TNG ready to go on these. We had almost
that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem for me.
Right. we would have blown that out to problem. We would have probably been somewhere around 10 to 12 of those at this point instead of 3. We actually have 2 of the pins, but I don't want to say who they are yet. We actually have 2 of the pins done setting here, but we can't get out to get them autographed. And, that's a little bit of that is I want to be there when they do it. It's part of the long hours we put in, that it's kind of the attaboy to be able to sit and talk. I mean, the time that I got to spend with William Shatner and Doug Jones and Brent did it actually at STLV, but I mean, the times we've got to spend with them outside to sit and do that, it's a very different kind of setting, and it's more relaxed, and it's really kind of, you get to hear some stuff. And I mean, William Shatner, I'll never forget the 3 hours I got to spend with him in his hotel room here in Denver when he came into town to do it. He actually came here to do them, and we've gotten to do a lot of work for William on the side for stuff, and because he loved our work. And that's so we will be doing more of those. We will have a lot more of those. Hopefully we will have the 55-year celebration. I still think we're going to get an announcement for something back east from CBS, for a licensed show. I can't see why they would. I'm hoping we're going to have 2 shows this year that are STLV-esque. We'll have the 55-year, which is the creation guys are doing a phenomenal job. We're going to be at that. And I think I'm hoping we'll see a licensed event through CBS back east somewhere this year. I really hope so.
Yeah, if you put that TNG autograph set out, oof, I'll be the first one to buy.
We're gonna make sure you get all the smudged ones.
Nope. I'm very particular about my autographs.
Oh, I know. Oh, I absolutely. And you guys, I see the little notes. It's like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm framing it. Can you know? A lot of people have those are numbered, so they want the same number after each one. So we do like we do with the master sets, where people get the same number. So we have some people who have to get the same sets of those as they have of their master sets. So it's kind of a cool deal. But yeah, and we don't do a lot of those. I mean, we'll as we do some of the lesser known, or maybe not frontline cast, we'll only do 50 to. We'll do 100, but we give 50 to the actor, and we'll only have 50 of those on site, which will sell out in a month.
So here's a question that comes to my mind. So far these master sets have been anniversary style things,
right.
But I can imagine you talked about not wanting to saturate the market before. You don't want to do TNG 30 and then 5 years later do TNG 35.
Right.
So do you have plans, like thoughts as to what you might want to do as far as a master set after anniversaries kind of have rolled away?
Well, that's we have, and that's kind of why we came up with the Women of Trek. Well, we're very excited that we'll have ongoing seasons of Star Trek, whether it's Lower Decks or Section 31 or Strange New Worlds. The episode pins will really become a staple in allowing us to continue to make sets for people on their walls. And then, this is where John excels in this deal, because every design of those master sets, he penned them in paper in pencil before they ever went to becomes a set. And I'm sure we'll come up with something, because you're right. I don't think you're not going to see an every 5 year. You're not going to see, once we get through these and we have the dedication done, we'll have a Discovery 5th year, probably, if they get out that far. We got to hope they get renewed for one more year. And we can get 5 years of them going, and whether we do or not, we'll have a 5th year for them to get them up on the board. But you'll see, I really see where we could do. We've talked about doing the aliens of Trek, and doing it with, so we would have, we could address the alien races. We've talked about doing 6-inch side ship pins, so you could put them into a frame set where you would say you'd have ships from TOS. So there would be like 6 to 8 very highly detailed pins, done in glitter, done not done like they are now in the micro fleet line, but very high detailed ships of the original series, ships of the animated series. So there's plenty of places for us to go after we get past kind of some of these early anniversaries. I was telling John, what are we going to do for Lower Decks? Because it's an animated, and we really need to address the animated series, the original animated series. I would really like to do something for that show, just so that we're on the board with all of them. It's part of our license.
I love that, because like I've told you before, I'm into the framing of things.
Oh yeah.
So, I snatch up those episode pins as soon as they come out, so that I can come up with some design, or when I know that you have the episode pins ready to go, I start going through and trying to find the poster that I want as the centerpiece of all of these episode pins. So That's the kind of thing I look forward to. But I know Jamie just looks forward to having the complete set of them. So
Yeah, you had to do Picard, so of course I had to get the Picard episode pins because I can't stay away from anything TNG-esque era for sure. So anything you put out TNG wise, just know that you might as well just start getting a package.
Right,
ready for me.
I'll put a box for you over here.
Yeah, just put it aside because it's the order's coming.
And we have, which is kind of funny, we do have boxes for like some of our international buyers who don't want to put an order in. They're in Canada, they're in Germany, Horst in Germany. I'm on Jacob in Canada. I have standing orders when stuff comes out to put it in their box because they don't want to miss out, but they don't want to buy 4 pins. They'll buy 40 pins and we'll do all an invoicing at once, but I have to have it in their box. Otherwise we might sell out of it if it's the Christmas badgie. Thank you. So yeah, Christmas badgie setting in there each of those guys' boxes because they haven't got them out yet. So it's we like to take that and do that for our customers, and there's all of those guys are super customers. Every customer is important, but you have to take care of the guys who show up week in and week out. So we love that, and that's why you guys get the little notes from me, because it's like sitting here chatting with you now. We want to have that relationship with our customers where we can tell you hi, tell you thank you, tell you we're sorry we didn't get your pins in the bag. So yeah, but it's been an experience all the way through.
I think my last question that I have, it seems to me, and I think Jamie and I have actually talked about this before together, that the micro crew have seen somewhat of an evolution in design.
Oh my, yes. I mean, if you look at what the board that you just held up that had Riker and Picard, I mean, we've gone through, and as we're selling out now, so like your 7 of 9 pin and that Riker pin, you can't. Those are vaulted. They're not only vaulted, they're retired. Those will not be back out. So our original 7 of 9 in the gray leotard, she's done. She's now in the burgundy. When we sell out of those, and you're seeing the difference in the faces. So you're exactly right. We've got a new we've got yet another new Riker pin coming. We just replaced him. You'll see a new William Shatner pin which will be in. I don't know if you guys saw the preview of the Monster Maroon.
Yes,
William Shatner.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Yeah. Are you gonna do more Monster Maroons? Like
we'll do the whole cat. We're gonna do everybody. We'll do everybody from that's and so there again is a little bit of the licensing is that we couldn't touch the movie stuff until everybody came together, because that was a joint license. It wasn't a TV show, it was a joint license, Paramount and CBS. So as things have kind of come together, we can now, I mean, we'd have had that pin out 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Bet.
Yeah. So
does that mean you're going to kind of delve a little bit more into like the Kelvin universe too, now that you have the movie licenses?
Yes. And we had to wait because there was, I'm not quite sure what it was, but there was too many fingers in the pie for us when the movies were out, and we were only around for the last movie, but we couldn't get it added to our license until it was out of the theaters. And once it was out of theaters and on Blu-ray, that released the property, or DVD Blu-ray, that released the property for CBS to do licensing without the theater, without Paramount and everybody else in it. So now that's where, so you'll see more and more of that kind of stuff. It's we've got it. We have, our issue is we have so many things we would love to do, and we have 104 release dates a year. And we have to figure out, the 1st and the 15th. Everything has to be scheduled. It has to be, and we just don't want to inundate the customers. And that's the stuff that we see with, like, the pops. How in the world can you keep up with all the pops? I don't collect them. Thank God I'd be broke. But how can you keep up with them? We want to make it so that we pace with product people want and what we can afford to bring out, because there's a lot of R&D money that go up in on the front end. But we're dealing literally in a universe of product, and that's ships, characters, shows. It's wide open. There's a lot of places to start and never end. It's just exciting to look at your guys' walls and see what you got going on back there.
So we're very happy that we were able to have Lou from FanSets on, not only because of the fact that Lou collects like us, and Lou provides
one
us.
Of us. One of us.
And he also provides us with the stuff that we collect. That makes it a doubly special episode that we have here today. But also, we're so happy that being part of the network, that we're able to call you a sponsor.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that we're always happy to be able to do is tell everybody that if you use the code DIVINE at checkout, you can get 10% off your order. So make sure that all these pins that we've been talking about tonight, you go to fansets.com, you put in the code word DIVINE, DIVINE, and receive your 10% off. And if you live in the U.S., orders $30 or more, you get free shipping.
That's right. And everybody that sees this, sign up and follow these guys, because we're going to support them like never before. We're very excited to be part of a collecting show. This is you guys are in our blood, and this is speaking to why everybody is buying stuff from us. This doesn't have any kind of political touch or anything to it. It doesn't have, it's collecting. It's everybody who wants to collect something can come on your show, and we're going to be behind you guys 100%.
No, it's awesome. I tell you, Lou, it was awesome to talk to you. I really appreciate your time too, because I know you're a 2.5 man operation, right? Because Joe's the half.
Joe's the half. So I know how busy and how precious your time is, pretty much working all the time. So I literally will come on anytime you want me to. I love talking to you guys I can't wait. We're going to talk when we get into talking about collecting. That's going to be spectacular. I got some great stories about chasing down 1701 figures.
On great.
On 500-mile journeys going from Walmart to Kmart to Target, to fulfill a collection. So, but I can't wait to talk to you about that. And it's really been an honor. And listen, from FanSets, we found the geeks when we got going. We really love what they're about. Everybody's track. Every track is somebody's first track. Attitude is where we're at. We support the entire line, and Dan and Bill and the Trek Geeks Network have become a very enjoyable part of this business to us. I message with Dan and Bill almost daily. We're very honored that you would have us on your show.
Well, I got to say, when you were telling everybody that this is your wheelhouse, I was the one who got the goosebumps at that point. So very happy to hear that. So one thing that we've discussed as well is the fact that the Collector's Corner is a supplementary part of the Divine Treasury. Our goal is going to be on a semi-regular basis to talk to small businesses such as FanSets, but also card graders. Lou mentioned having authenticators for autographs. We want to talk to people like that. and we're going to try and get in touch with other licensees to talk about the products that they put out as well. This is all part of the stuff that we collect, and that's why we wanted to have a separate portion of the show devoted specifically to those pieces that we, as well as you, collect. So we thank you for spending some time with us today as we got into the Collector's Corner, and we're appreciative of Lou and FanSets for coming on as well. Stay tuned for our next Collector's Corner when we might be talking to some other licensee.
Live long and prosper, guys.
Music for the Divine Treasury is provided by 5 Year Mission. They're writing an original song for each episode of Star Trek. Hear more of their music at 5yearmission.net. The Divine Treasury is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.